それでは次のニュースです。昨夜未明、市内各所で目撃された謎の生物の手がかりは依然つかめておらず、地域住民の不安が高まっています。目撃者の証言では、この生物について西洋の悪魔のような姿であるとする声も多く、現場周辺での調査が続いています。こうした中、捜査当局では、同夜起こった連続殺人事件との関連もあるのではないかとして、引き続き付近の住民に警戒を呼びかけています。
There we go. Alright, as I was saying, we need to enter the back side of the university at 1 to 8 to New Moon. I don't know why exactly and what exactly is getting calculated somewhere, but that makes the next dungeon, the upcoming one, completely empty for us, with no encounters. And as a result, it's gonna be very quick. You also need to enter this dungeon at 6 to 8 Moon, that you could see me doing just now, which is actually quite tricky, because you need to don't make any extra steps. In the middle of this floor, the moon will change to full. Every time the moon changes to full in this game, the RNG function gets called, and I think that's what allows us to skip an encounter here, on this floor specifically. I don't know what exactly affects every other floor, because there are way more encounters than that. But anyway. So 1 to 8 to university and 6 to 8 for this dungeon. So another thing I should mention before I forget. You must not mash any buttons during the fight. Well, I say any buttons. The action button. The one that allows you to skip battle animations. Because you can skip them. You might have noticed that I have not been doing that, and if you're familiar with this game, you might be asking why, and well, that might ruin the manip itself. Here we need to meet Sid at 2 to 8. It's actually very easy. You just need to not take any extra steps right before meeting him. Shouldn't be an issue. You have plenty of time to get to that exact moon phase. Because from now on, the manip... Well, it already started in way of us walking in a specific fashion. But now it also locked, quote unquote, to a specific moon phase, which we're gonna carry through the next dungeon. Like in the next dungeon, I want to be on a specific moon phase, and that's why we need to enter the Sid section at 228, because we will not really have any time to readjust ourselves. You could do it in front of the library, but it's very inconvenient there. You need to mash very carefully when you're in the agency, because the default selected option is to save the game. And if you accidentally click it, you're gonna lose like 5-6 seconds easily, because it's very slow to close it. Here you run, stop, then take a step and enter. Under no circumstance you hold the running button there. We will be doing that later, but not here. Same here. You stop and then you make steps. These are actually pretty lucky points of people wanting to talk to you, because they allow us to run for quite a while and then get stopped by them, rather close to the doors that we need to enter. If it's not for them, then running here would prove very difficult. Okay, now. Here run all the way down, then all the way left. That's it. No weird movement. Repulse water, and then go. Stop here, then continue running. Another good advice would be, when you're making singular steps, you need to make sure that all of your steps are very lightly pressed on the D-pad. Don't hold the walking button for too long, because the game might recognize a step as running, and that will screw up everything. Because walking and running is how we are controlling the manip this game, or in this run. Okay, don't forget to take Ray. Now the shop. Yes, like this. Okay, now we need to get some spells for Ray. For that we need to go to this path. You need to make sure to enter it before the full moon, so nothing breaks. It's very easy though. Even if you don't cut any corners, you're pretty comfortably before full moon. We're gonna be hitting full moon anyway, but better off hitting it on the global map. Then you can be absolutely sure that it gets the RNG function in the game gets called just once. Without any shenanigans that have to do anything with, like, steps. There we go. Now, heal twice. Twice exactly. That's very important. Because healing with Dia spell is RNG. You don't know how much exactly it will heal you, so it's always random number. But in our case, in the case of the Manip, it's not really random. We know exactly for how much it heals. But we want it to heal us exactly twice, not 3 times, because the 3rd time we'll call the RNG one more time, which we don't need. Because we want this fight to go a very specific way. That's the reason. Ow. This fight will end in 8 turns. We just need to survive. You would be likely to survive anyway, even if you screwed up the Manip somehow, going in here. But difference is, the way it is right now, you will not have any special effects on you, like status ailments. You'll be completely clean by the end of it. And there are a lot of things that they can put on you here, with the worst being you being paralyzed. And we don't really have anything to remove it. You would have to go to the gym, and that's obviously very slow and pretty much a reset point. There we go. Now we're going to the university again. on full moon again. You have quite a lot of time to get to the full moon though. Shouldn't be an issue. And now a lot of walking straight to the boss. Make sure to stop here, right here. Don't run all the way forward during the dialogue prompt. We're gonna be doing that soon, but not yet. And now, in here, keep holding running when you're canceling that thing, that prompt. It's actually required to be like that. Or you will get an encounter in your face there. There we go. Now here. Stop in here. When cancelling the prompt, don't run forward. Okay, now we enter the path to the forest there at 1-8 past New Moon. Almost messed that up. We don't need this item, but it's in the way of our running, so you just pick it up. Don't forget to reapply Repulse Water. There we go. Now enter the mansion. On this map, you need to cycle past full moon like this, and then enter the dungeon itself on the new moon. Like that. It's very easy, just one step into that path there. You don't have to go too deep. It immediately sends you there. Okay, after this we need to talk one time. There we go. Yeah, that turn with gun and guard is not because I really wanted to deal 1 damage to the boss. It's because I want to trigger a certain behavior from him after that turn. Uh-oh. Alright, and straight to the shrine. Which is probably my least favorite dungeon, but in this route it's very easy. There's absolutely no panic about it. Okay, 1-8 past new moon. Which is very easy to adjust here. And repulse water at the start. Otherwise you will see enemies immediately. Nice. Okay, now we need to go and buy a little bit of magnetite. For that first prompt you definitely need to stop. Which you could probably see from my inputs. Do I ever get those days just don't drink enough for no particular reason? I always don't drink enough. To be brutally honest. Oh my fucking god, game, please. Yes. Thank you, Shelter Mix. When do we get Kagasuchi? Wrong game. Okay, enough. Alright, now, this is a bit awkward. I advise to get to full moon before entering this place, which you usually would. But even if it did not happen, or it cycled past it, it's not the end of the world, from what I have managed to test so far. But who knows if that can break anything. What is important though is the moon phase that we're gonna have when we enter the actual museum. And for that we go down, right, tinker here a bit, and like that. 1 to 8 past new moon is what we're looking for. Now we do the thing. Yes, Fraser. Might have heard of him. Okay, this is very difficult to remember. There's a lot of very controversial walking and running here, which might look very unoptimized, but it allows us to avoid encounters here. And it's gonna continue until the rest of the dungeon, which is not a lot, considering we're almost at the end already. Okay, now after we free Rain, we're gonna be outside. We're gonna do something I call Victory Lap, which also might look very unnecessary, just us moving around town like this, but it progresses the moon phase just enough for the next dungeon, makes it more convenient. You can walk around the entrance of the next dungeon to achieve the same, but it's way more inconvenient because there are a lot of people who want to talk to you there. Which, as a result, forces you to keep stopping to talk to them and then saying, no, I don't want to, go away. No idea, Silver, I don't drink. I'm gonna be honest. Now I go straight left and up. And we enter this place at exactly full moon. And at the start here, you need to walk. Like this. If you're gonna run immediately, you're gonna see an encounter. Which is very weird. Because normally in those circumstances it just would appear later, but it for some reason disappears completely if you walk. Definitely not complaining about that, just a bit weird. This one, that prompt, you have to keep running through. So you just cancel the prompt itself while holding the run button, D-pad up. That makes the game think that you're continuing to run, and because you're continuing to run, it will call the RNG function a bit more than it normally would if you like stopped and then started running again. Same here. Such a joy to go through this dungeon now, compared to the previous route. So much running. And only going forward. Hopefully I did not overdo it. enter this place, you're probably gonna enter that full moon. Preferably get to full moon before entering it, to make sure it stays consistent. Because as I have said before, also say no here. This is somewhat important. Then go back and say yes. There we go. Yeah, because as I've said before, I have not fully explored the consequences of hitting full moon inside dungeons. So better off hitting it on a global map. There we go. Now we need to enter Tendo's mansion at 2 to 8 past new moon, which is very easy because you pretty much hitting it anyway while going there normally. You don't have to run laps around it. This is slightly tricky, but turn left here, turn left again. Like, turn left, run, I should say. Then turn left and run again. It's much easier on the console itself, because you can actually see in that darkness. On emulator, it's almost pitch black. Unfortunately, we have another complete darkness section coming up now. Okay, so here you make step forward, turn left, step forward, then run all the way to the wall, turn left, and keep stepping until you hit the wall, then turn left, turn right, go through the door, turn left, run all the way through, 3 steps forward, turn left, 1 step, turn around, 1 step, turn around, and then run. It's much easier if you look at the map. Like, just once, basically. To realize where you're running around in. Doing it by commands is kind of difficult, especially when you're trying to do it fast. go. So I've been mentioning it before. In this fight, not only we need to actually defeat Tendo, we also need to get an item from him. Item that we're gonna be using later. So the fight is manipulated in such a way that he will drop that item. If you do everything correctly, all the way through. Now for the last time we're gonna visit the shop. To buy 10 more fizz reflect mirrors. Okay, go left, down, now up, and here it's gonna be much easier to adjust to 1-8 past new moon. That's how you want to enter this place. We need another Soma, which is in a box there. Need to go and pick it up. And now we can go to the point where we're gonna be ending this part of the manip. Save the game, finally. Now the next part of the manip begins, which will last for, what, 10 minutes or something? So if you screw something up at the beginning, you can quickly load again, I guess. Now for the tough one. If you play this casually, you know those corridors as the ones that keep turning you... Well, not turning you around. I guess warping you around is a better way to describe it. And you need to go through them a specific way, while also ensuring that you will be able to defeat the boss that is coming up. Also, these are the last stat points that you will get. Now, for something that will be looking a little bit sketchy, we're gonna be escaping out of this fight in the middle of it, which you obviously will fail because this is a boss fight. But we need this to make sure that the next turn will be the attacking one, and for the amount of damage that we need from Sid. Razor, please have some mercy. Right, should probably mention that immediately. From this point onward, this dungeon and half of the next one, even if you fail some of the movement, you're very unlikely to meet any enemies because of Repulse water effect that it is on you right now, and enemies being very low level. So that Repulse water just removes all of them. I haven't, however, ran around here for hours to confirm that there is absolutely no chance of meeting something. So just in case, I would still advise you to follow the manip, like walking and running in specific places, to make sure you will absolutely be in the clear. What's with the timer? It works? It works? Don't scare me like that. Although it's kind of irrelevant for this, because I'm trying to record just a run with inputs on emulator. Okay, say no here, or you're gonna have to redo the whole dungeon from the beginning. Okay, turn right, run and stop at this text prompt, turn left and then run inside here. This is a very convenient way of reaching it. No, I'm not gonna be editing anything. Yes, 3 to 8 waning moon. Okay, good enough. This is important. Now repulse water. And as I've said, in the first part of this dungeon, well, and in the second as well, really, you're very unlikely to see anything, but, you know. There is no reason to not follow those simple steps to ensure that there is absolutely no one around. Now, after we load, we're gonna start one of the last instances where we're gonna be manipulating anything. It's gonna last almost until the end of the game. Including last dungeon, obviously. So you need to make sure you don't screw up the start here, which is very easy to do if you take it very carelessly. I need to pay attention. From this point onward, in this dungeon, we're just gonna be walking. Now cut all the corners that you can in here at the start, to make sure you will arrive at the half moon in here. Good. If you're gonna be way too flamboyant with those instances of you running, you will likely end up missing it. Good. Now the final dungeon, use the last repulse water that you have. And go. Obviously the longest dungeon in the game. But the way it is done right now, in this route, is very easy, compared to what it was. So that's a plus. What a floor. What a floor that is. Holy mother of frame rate. And this is emulator. Imagine what it is on console. Sheesh. Dude, the PS3 probably wouldn't be able to start this game, would just explode. Now coming up is a very confusing part, where the game will keep turning you around over and over. I'll try to describe what I'm doing here. So walk through this door. Run all the way to this door, stop. Go through it. Go here, turn around, run through this door and stop. And just keep walking in the correct direction until you get to the third corridor. Just make sure to not run in here. Out of these corridors, this is the second one, and it's basically requiring you to walk. Now walk through this door and keep running until you hit this wall. Then go through this door again into the second tile and run through 2 doors and stop. Then run on this or walk on this tile, walk one more time, and then run all the way to this wall. And that concludes the toughest part of this manip, I guess. Even though it's not the longest, it's definitely the most exhausting and annoying to do. Barely breathing while doing it. Now we just need to get to the last boss, which is a few corridors. Okay, here, run through 2 doors, 1, 2, and then stop. Then you can continue normally. It's kind of tricky to not push too much there. You need to know when to stop. Alright. Now we're gonna finish the 3 boss fights that we have. And all of them will end in 2 turns, hopefully. Okay, sit done. Now 2 fights with Inaruna. Yeah, we're fighting that guy like 3 times. That was the last one, thankfully. Okay, repeat and immediately cancel. Okay, that's Inaruna 1 done. Now for her second form. Good. If this game is okay now, then I guess that means SMT if is next. No, 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 no. No. No, 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 no. 10 minutes faster than console, Jesus fucking Christ. But if you're learning this game, you need to know on which moon cycles to enter dungeons, when to walk, when to run, when to walk or run through the prompts, and make sure you understand what light tap on D-pad is, because if you hold the D-pad for too long when you're walking, the game might think it's running, and as a result it calls RNG a bit more often than you need, and the manip is ruined. So when you're walking, you need to make sure you actually like lightly tap on the D-pad. Yeah, I did a run the other day on emulator and I was like 5 minutes ahead. But I guess I wasn't trying hard enough. Ended up being 10 minutes ahead. What? Yeah, emulator would be separated into its own category anyway, so... This game is just cracked on emulator. Like, you're speeding through it. Kind of like Persona 1 and 2. More so 1 than 2.